What's up, guys? It's Doodoo Poker here, back for another video. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the check bet line, small blind versus big blind. Okay, so the small blind checks flop, big blind checks back, and the small blind delayed C bets and then bets river. All right, so this is a small blind versus big blind hand. We have ace 10 of clubs in the big blind, small blind raises up, everyone else folds to small blind, he raises, we have ace 10 of clubs, we can either 3-bet or call, we decide to call, okay? Flop comes, jack of diamonds, 8 of hearts, 2 of spades. Now my opponent decides to check, okay? So we're in the big blind, we have showdown value, we have nothing else to do except check here, okay? So we check back. Now the turn is a 5 of spades, okay? Now my opponent bets 75%, okay? Now, here, a solver will always fold, okay? Now, a solver is folding and says it's a slight mistake to call, okay? Now, we should never, ever fold here, okay? Why? Why should we never fold? Because we have to look at MDA, okay? Let's take a peek at MDA. So we know from MDA that they over-delayed C-bet, okay? Look, they're going 43 to 42, depending on the stakes. GTO is 32 to 40. Okay, so we know they're over delayed C betting. We also know they're over folding to a raise. Okay, so you should be raising more on the turn versus a delayed C bet as the big blind versus small blind. Okay, so it's a big overfold here, 10% around. All right, so in the hand, let's check the hand out. So in the hand, I'll start from the beginning. Folds to the small blind, raises up, we call, check, check, flop, he bets, I call, okay? So I call because I know they over C-bet, delayed C-bet, okay? Now the river's interesting because, let's check the solver. I call with my ace 10 of clubs. Now the river comes in 8 of spades, okay? Now my opponent bets 75% again. Now this is not really a GTO line, okay? So it's not, the outputs are not going to be great because he's supposed to go over bet or bet small. So he bets 75% in game. It's here at 77. Okay, so we can't really look at a solver for this because it's not going to be helpful. The sizings are not GTO-ish and ace 10 folds on the turn. Okay, so we have to lean on MDA here. Okay, MDA is our friend in this spot. So let's look at check, bet, bet, MDA. Okay. Well, first we're going to look at the aggregate, okay? So we know it's 36 week, okay? We also know they fold 68% of the time to a raise. Big samples, over 3,000 hands, okay? So we know two things. We know it's over bluffed and it's over folded. Remember, Reg MDA principle. Any over bluff spot is by definition over folded, okay? It's very important. So when you know a spot is over bluffed, now if you don't have a bluff catcher, now I get to raise. Now I get to raise all my non-showdown hands. Okay, I call with my ace highs, but I raise with my weaker hands. All right, so it's very important. All right, so let's go to filters in this line. Okay, so that's the aggregate. Let's go to filters. We know it's 36 week overall. Let's go to river third to flush. Remember, the board run out was Jack 8-5 or Jack 8-2, 5-8. Okay, flush complete on the river, back door. Let's go to flush complete on the river, back door. 34 week. So we know it's slightly bluff less, but still over bluff because the aggregate is 36 week. Okay, so what do you want to do here? Well, let's say I know this in game. Okay, now I always call river. Okay, now he has queen 9 and I win. But let's say I had a hand like 7-6 or 10-9 or 9-6, okay? Let's say I have a hand that cannot call a river bet, okay? So what I do here is, we can do the math on this. We go to Notepad, and let's say the pot is, let's say he raised 3 pre-flop, right? So the pot's 6, check on the flop. Let's say he bets 75% of the turn. We'll say 4, so that's 4. So now 14 on the river. Let's say he bets 10 on the river, right? So the pot's 24. Now if I raise 3.5x, which is 35, stay with me, because 3.5 times 10 is 35, then I risk 35, and it's 35 plus 24. Okay, so we know, where's the calculator? Calculator here. I'm risking 35 to win 59. I need 59% folds. Okay, I need 59% folds to make it a break-even fold. How many folds am I getting? Well, let's go. In the aggregate, we know it's 68. Let's go to the filters. Filters, 68. Okay, so I know there's a 9% overlay. Okay, a 9% discrepancy between the alpha and in practice and the alpha in theory. Okay, so you should be raising all your air on the river versus the check bet line, because we know MDA principle for regs, any over bluff spot is by definition overfolded. So back to the original hand, if I get here with a hand like 10-9, even like Queen-9, Queen-10, I would still raise. Okay, I'm only calling ace highs. I'll call all ace highs, and if I have less than ace high, I raise. All right, guys? So this is another way we can deviate from a solver to outperform based on MDA and increase our EV. All right? Thanks for checking out the channel. Just started this channel. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you in the next video.